Hey, you too. Welcome back to my channel. This is Nathan Daley. I'm your law enforcement translator, you guys. Some people are saying TLO, right? The lead officer. Shout out to the lead attorney. You guys, what are we talking about today? We're talking about Young Dolph. I did a video earlier, you guys, just kind of, putting my foot into this whole situation because a unique situation took place. I was watching the video with a gentleman in court. They're in court doing their first appearance hearing, and the judge rescheduled it because, they said, hey, we want to get an attorney, we want our own attorney so that we can actually fight these charges. Now, we do have to say this. Allegedly, they committed this crime where they assassinated Young Dolph. These gentlemen is Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, which is his stage or rapper name, and then Cornelius Smith. These are the two gunmen. And so, the judge gave them a week. Said, we'll give you a week to get your attorney and come back. We'll talk about these charges. You guys, what a lot of people might not realize is that Tennessee can seek the death penalty on this case. Should they? The DA stated something that was really interesting. He said, hey, in confidence, it's confidence, we got the right people. We are confident that we have the right people. It's always innocent to proven guilty. But, we'll see what happens, right? What I want to talk about and touch on is the third suspect. A lot of people haven't really talked much about this. There's a third suspect involved. And I'm going to touch on the multitude of issues that are unfolding in this case, you guys. I have a little inside knowledge. I'm not going to say too much, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. The third suspect, Shundale Barnett. You guys, Shundale Barnett. He's 27 years old. And he's also arrested. I think he's not in Tennessee yet. They haven't extradited him. He was the driver. He was driving Justin Johnson when they got pulled over. What they charge him with? What they charge Shundale Barnett with? They charged him with accessory to murder. After the fact, accessory to first degree murder. Listen, you guys, he wasn't even there shooting from what we know so far. He was one of the gunmen, but they are charging him with an accessory crime because he was aiding and abetting the escape of a wanted fugitive, of a wanted suspect. Could you imagine? So I'm going to read to you the Tennessee Penal Code for this charge. Criminal responsibility, accessory after the fact, meaning that after this whole thing was done, you then jumped in, got your feet wet, and committed a crime, right? You became an accessory to the crime after the fact. What does it say? This is Tennessee Penal Code, annotated 39-11-411 for those who want to look it up. I'll put it up here and I'll also link it. It says a person is an accessory after the fact who, after the commission of a felony, with knowledge or reasonable ground to believe that the offender has committed the felony and with the intent to hinder the arrest, trial, conviction, or punishment of the offender. What are the different elements? 1, if he harbors or conceals the offender. 2, provides or aids in providing the offender with any means of avoiding arrest, trial, conviction, or punishment. 3, warns the offender of impeding apprehension or discovery. So those are the elements. If you satisfy any of those, you're done. You're hit with this charge. They hit this gentleman, Shundale Barnett, with this charge. He should have known. They know he knew. They charged him. He's arrested now. You get charged with 1 to 6 years in prison for this. It's an E-class felony in Tennessee. Listen, this is aiding and abetting, murder. These are big charges. We know what happened, right? We understand what happened. These are big charges. I hate this senseless killing, you guys. And again, I'm not trying to defend anybody's character, because I'm gonna tell you what happens behind the scenes. With these gang-related things, these jealousy shootings, these beefs, especially with the rappers. I've seen it here in Atlanta. You guys, when you start investigating these things, you know what ends up happening? You start finding out the timeline and the story. Stuff that happened 2 years ago. People are still holding on to things, right? That fight in the club, the disrespect in the club, right? You sent a shooter my way, I had to send a shooter your way, right? This back and forth. The threats that are made in the music. The stories that are being told. Hey, I took your girl, you took my, like all that petty stuff. What I realized with some of these guys, they're willing to die behind these words, you guys. Some people are willing to die behind these words. The pride. So we don't know, right? We don't know the motives. But let me tell you what I do know, you guys. Let me tell you what I do know. There's some more heads about to roll, you guys. Some names. Some familiar names about to hit mainstream. These guys aren't talking. The two shooters aren't talking. Who's talking? This thing is, people who are in the area know what's going on. That's how these guys were caught in the first place. People aren't happy that this happened. Stay tuned in the next 2 weeks. There's going to be some more arrests, right? There's going to be some more arrests, you guys. Again, this speaks to the foolishness that goes on. It's like, why? Why? So this guy, the third suspect, for being charged with aiding and abetting, he hasn't been extradited. What's the concerns of extraditing from state to state? What's the concerns, you guys? It's dangerous. As officers, we're concerned about, the sheriffs are concerned about being ambushed, right? They got to find a safe way to bring him back without any problems. Heavy drug activity, gang activity in Tennessee. These guys are out here making money. And there are people on their team that are down to do whatever to seek their freedom, right? So it's one of those things too, is some of these guys, they call themselves, they're like made men, where if you're trying to knock me off, you need permission to do it. Because I'm so connected, you need permission. You guys, wait to see what happens. Wait to see what happens when you find out the names behind this situation. One thing that I didn't know up until now when I did the research, that, Young Dolph was doing a lot for his community. He was doing a lot for his community. And I was having a discussion with some people the other day in reference to this, about when people become successful, should they leave? Should they leave their communities? They can no longer be there anymore. If that's the case, you guys, we saw it with Nipsey Hussle. We're seeing it with Young Dolph. It's sad, right? How does our communities get better if we kill off the people who are actually trying to make a difference in them? And again, I don't know his character. I don't know what was going on. I don't know the beef, right? The little that I do know, I think it's interesting. His I'm not sure if it's his former or current girlfriend, but his child's mother started a nonprofit, I believe, or a campaign called "The Black Man Deserves to Grow Old." The irony. She created after her brother was killed by gun violence. And the whole idea is to bring awareness to the gun violence, the tragedies that it's bringing in the community in Tennessee, in Memphis. Again, you guys, nicknamed Murder Memphis. Who gave it that? Who gave it that name? Why do we feel like we need to honor that name and live up to it? Everybody in the community should be disgusted by that label. When I've talked to people from Memphis, like, yeah, I'm from Murder Memphis, right? I talk to people from Chicago, I'm from Chirac. This is, you're calling your city an undeveloped nation, right? Or some people would say a third world country. You're saying this city has third world conditions in it. The conditioning, right, of our people over time. Now listen, you guys, some of these things I talk about, they're very surface level issues. I was reading a comment earlier. Someone was like, but you're not talking about this. You're not talking about that. Listen, I could barely talk about some of these things. You guys barely want to watch this. Right? We're so distracted, you guys. We're so distracted on things that really aren't or don't or will not better or empower our community. We want to be entertained like a bunch of jesters, right? We want to be entertainers. We want to be comedians. We want to be athletes. And we turn around and there's some of our communities are the buildings, infrastructure, dilapidated, you guys. Falling apart. They're no good. You walk the streets in some of these communities and you're like, who lives here? Who lives here? I want to know what the answers are. Does anybody have any answers to these problems? We have people doing the campaigns, and she said, "Hey, listen, I want to bring some type of awareness. What can we do? How do we get in our communities? How do we tell these kids to put these guns down? Like, y'all can't box it out? We used to box it out. If I had beef with you, we'd box it out in school. I think I fought maybe twice in middle school, once in high school. High school, I had to beat the brakes off somebody, right? And after the suspension, both parents showed up. We had to do the little thing, we shook hands. We shook hands. Never once in my life have I ever had an issue with someone. I've disliked a lot of people. Not one time in my mind has it ever crossed my mind to take a person's life. Never. Even on the job, you guys. Try my best not to pull the trigger. Try my best. Sometimes y'all made it a little hard. You talk to officers, they'll tell you, like, hey man, come on now. Don't put me in a situation where I have to hurt you. I'm not here for that. It pains me to see these guys throw their lives away. Senseless. You got one clown, he started at a young age and, he's 23. Should they get the death penalty, you guys? Let me know your thoughts. Should they get the death penalty? Listen, I'm a student of the code of Hammurabi. Eye for an eye. Eye for an eye. Some people say eye for an eye, we both lose our sight, right? How do you win? But the Code of Hammurabi has a lot of interesting things. Now, granted, some of this stuff is barbaric. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it's very barbaric, but it worked. I think in situations like this, I think the family should decide on the punishment. The family should decide. I've always felt like that. Now, look, someone's going to clip this and quote me on it. I'm just saying. Don't put your hands on people. Leave people alone, right? This person was able to be a part of this assassination because the court system just had him back out on the street. He shot 3 people. I said in my previous video, he shot 3 people. The judge gave him what, 5 months, and he was out. 9 months. The judge gave him 9 months, and he was out. He's supposed to get 5 years for that shooting. If the judge kept him in for his 5 years, he wouldn't have been a part of this shooting. It makes you wonder the intent behind these judges letting these people back out when they know they need to be behind bars, right? Oh no, I think he's good. Send him back out there. Who are you doing the favor to? How are you helping the community out? Look what he did. He sent him back out there, and he seemed like the first 3 people he shot was practice. He got it right this time. We need to talk to the judge. Why'd you feel like you needed to release him from his 5-year punishment? I don't know. Tennessee, the death penalty is game, though. Should they get the death penalty? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm curious. That's the third suspect, you guys. I'm going to keep you updated. Listen, stay tuned. It's about to get crazy with this case. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, you guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And with that, good night. God bless.